Okay, let me share
Kashish,
my screen.
on your the page which you are sharing,
Yeah.
uh, the text which you are writing in between, like now let us understand the use of return statement one
Uh-huh.
two. Even at the start of the page, you have written some text. So how does that come in this Jupyter notebook in
Awesome.
between?
Great question. No one has asked such question in between, but I'm glad you have asked. Okay, let's see before
Yeah.
proceeding further. So Jupyter Notebook is basically used for learning purposes, not for practical development, I would say. Because Jupyter
Okay.
Notebook have some additional functionalities, like it also accepts HTML code, right? This is a heading which
Okay.
is defined by HTML code. I can show it right now. Then Jupyter Notebook can also accept some images using HTML or some other methods. So there are some like additional functionalities that Jupyter Notebook provides, that you can make your document very beautiful by providing various tables. You can say graphs,
Correct.
charts, images, all those kinds of things. Like I have used comments here, and in the previous
Right.
session I have used some kind of images as well. So if I click on
Right.
if I double click on this cell, you can see that using hash, this basically
Okay.
makes this text as you can say heading. If I use double hash, you can see this text is getting smaller,
Okay.
right? So only one hash means you are giving it as h1, which is heading 1 in
Yeah.
HTML.
Correct.
Then we are
HTML head.
writing, yeah, then we are writing plain text. But
Right.
the main thing is there are
Mm-hmm.
different kind of cells that are there in Jupyter Notebook: code, markdown, raw, NB convert, and heading. So make it
Okay.
markdown instead of code. So
Okay.
this is a code, you can see, and this
Okay.
is a markdown. So only in markdown this will work. If I turn it to code and now run it, then it will throw me an error that it is an invalid
Okay.
syntax. So once I
Understood.
convert it to markdown, then it will automatically convert it into comments. And somewhere
Okay.
I think I've used HTML as well, some kind of HTML, like h1 tag is for heading, B is for bold, and S3 is
Mm.
for like S3 heading, which is little smaller
Yeah.
than.
HTML. Correct. Correct.
So all the HTML tags can be used inside this Jupyter Notebook like this. Image tag I have used various times, and yeah, this is how you can place comments in Jupyter Notebook.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how do you insert the image
For
or a
inserting the
table?
image, you have a image tag in HTML. If you write img, then you have to give source src is equal to,
Okay.
then you have
So
to give the
basically, you do
complete path.
HTML coding only. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have to do it. You
Understood.
can easily take the syntax of it from anywhere on Google, then
Yeah,
insert.
yeah, correct, correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct. This we had learned in school. I remember.
Yes, right.
Okay, okay, ठीक है. Thank you. This is quite important.
Yeah. Did you use any libraries for HTML? Nothing, Chirag. This is used directly. This comes in built feature. Okay. Now moving further. Uh, okay, I was on this example, currency converter. So there is no function that is there which can convert my currency. So this is you can say very basic example that I am taking to convert currency. But later on, maybe you can utilize some APIs from any website who can share the APIs for free, and you can use it with Python code to take the daily updates of the currencies, like what is the value of USD, what is the value of CAD. Similarly, you can take different values for currencies from some API and show it in the, you can say, real currency converter as you can create. So now as a basic function, we can create a currency converter, and we are just taking one argument as USD, and then we are printing USD multiplied by 75. So this is a static value that I'm taking, but as I told that you can use some APIs to get the daily updates of currencies. So I'm taking 75 as the, you can say, hypothetical value, and this is the function that is done. The function definition is done, and my function name is currency converter. So I'm calling it here currency converter, and then I'm passing the value of 10. It will go as the input for USD. as it takes just one argument. And finally, we are printing the value of USD as USD multiplied by 75. And we are again calling this function. And now this time I want to check the value of 18 USD into INR. By running this, you get two values, 750 and 1350. You can also change the print statement like this. Use f string. This complete USD multiplied by 75 is a you can say variable for me. You can place it in the curly braces, and then you can write it like value of. You can also use again curly braces, value of these much dollars are, or maybe is this. Now let's print. You can see value of $10 is, and you can also write INR. So this is just about using f string. Okay, moving ahead. This is a function to reverse any string. Few sessions ago, we talked about this example where we took the input from the user and reversed the string. Now let's create this function reverse, and it is taking one argument as string. It can be anything, as I said, it can be only S, but I'm writing string right now. So now there is something new that we can see in this program, which is return. This is like very crucial concept to be like if you are working on functions, you should know what is the purpose of return statement. If you don't know how return is used, like you will face so many problems while working on Python. So let's focus on this return statement. How does it work and what are the implications if we don't use it, and how we have to use it so that we can get benefit from this return statement. Okay, so this is a function reverse function, and then we have defined a argument which is a string. Then I know how to how to reverse a string by using colon colon and -1. This I know. And then what we are doing, we are not using any print statement inside the function. We are just achieving some functionality which is to reverse a string by using this syntax. And when I'm calling this function reverse, I'm passing on a string Python which is an argument to this string argument, right? Which is basically a value for this string argument. And finally, we are printing this function as a whole. Now, if I run this, you can see it has reversed, right? This will work. But if I remove the statement, this will still work. This will not give me any error, and it is printing the statement. But what is the use of return here? Even if I, you can say, okay, let me explain why return is used first. So return, let's understand the below statements. So return statement helps us to return values of function output, right? Without return statement, we cannot store the output into a global variable. Then any variables created inside a function are local to that function only. Okay. Suppose I am creating a variable which is x is equal to string and then colon colon minus, or maybe I can add a new cell so that this doesn't change. Suppose I'm writing x is equal to string, then colon colon -1. So what it will do, the string that it is accepted as the argument, which is Python, the reversed value of the string will be stored into x. And then I can print this x like this. So this is printed, right? But suppose I want to use this value, this reversed value, somewhere else in the program, right? Now, if in the other cell, if I want to print the value of x, you can see the name error that x is not defined. What does it mean? Till the last session, all the variables that we were declaring like this, those were the global variables, right? We can reuse these variables anytime, anywhere in the program till the kernel session is on. But within functions, if you define any variable, their scope is local to that function only. These variables are not global. These points are very important that I'm saying right now, that any variable that you define inside a function scope, like those variable scope will be limited to that function only. You cannot call this variable x out of this function. You can use it anywhere. I can add one more statement like print type of x, but this is again inside the function scope. So this will be printed. But again, if I check anything on based of x anywhere in the program, it will not work because they are limited to that function only. Now to reuse this variable anywhere in the program, like I want to print this value of x in the next cell, what I can do, I can return this value of x. So anything that has been processed by the function, and after processing you want the value as a output of that function, you can use return statement. So in short, return statement is used to give the output of the function to make the value global, right? It can be processed, like x is a processed value by using reverse of a string, or you can directly place a comma and write string. So what it will do, it will return two values x and string as a output of this function reverse. But let's keep it as x only, as it is a reverse of a string. Now if I run this, so what has changed? Don't focus on this. This is not the desired output. So what it is doing right now, it is printing value of x, which is reverse of Python. Then I am saying that tell me the type of x, which is class str. Now let's take use of this value x. Let's again try to print x. You can see still it is saying that x is not defined. But now I have used return statement. Now it should have tell me what is the value of x, but still it is giving me an error. Let's understand why. When we have done the function call, we have said that this function will return me an output, which is x. But during the function call, I have not stored the value of x anywhere. So any value that is being returned from the function, we have to store it somewhere during the function call. So what it will, I will write maybe val, which is val. This can be any keyword. This is simply a variable name. So val is equal to reverse of Python. So now let's understand. Here I'm calling the reverse function by the argument, which is Python. What it is returning? It is returning the value of x. So here, once it is run, it will return the value of x as reverse of Python like this, and that value will be stored in val, right? So this is how we can use return statement to return any value from a function as the output, and then store that value inside some other variable, and then we can reuse it. Now if I run this, you can see these two statements has printed these statements, and then value of x has been returned to val. And now we can check what is the value of val. You can see this is the reverse of the string that we have passed to the function. This can be little tricky, but yes, this is very important concept that is there in Python, because I think 99% of the times you have to return some value from a function so that you can reuse it multiple times in your program. So this is the basic thing that you perform using functions. I can also give the same variable name, which is x here, and then I can print x, because this x is just limited to this function scope. But this x is a global variable that I'm creating from the output of this function. Let's check the output. You can see the same output I'm getting. So now the value of, so the x variable, this variable has become global, but this was limited to that function only. Is this concept clear?
Yes, and so one important thing is here is that x we have defined in the same uh, line as def defined. Had it been one tab away, then it would be again falling part of that same user defined function, right?
See, this is a function definition. This is a function call.
Correct.
This is
No, no. So
completely
yeah,
different from this thing.
correct. But why it is different? Because it is in the same what you can say
This is
hierarchy as def.
uh,
Correct.
see, this is a function definition where you have to indent. This is a functionality that is being
Ah,
performed by this function
indenting.
reverse, right? But
Correct.
here
But had
I'm
it
using.
been indented,
Is your question that we should indent this statement as well?
Suppose if it would have been indented along with the return,
Uh-huh.
then it would not have been a global. It would still
Right,
have been
right,
a
right. Exactly.
correct, correct. Hmm.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
So this is done. Let's try to print the value of x. This is printing because kernel already stored the value of x previously. Let's restart the kernel once. It is restarting, and we will get the status here that kernel is ready. And someone asked something in the chat. So Dheeraj is asking, so kernel is ready now. Def reverse colon colon 1 and then reverse of xyz. So Dheeraj, do you think this won't work, right? Yes, that you are right. This won't work. We can try it once so that everyone can see. So let me just rerun this. This is done, and print of x. You can see it is giving me an error that x is not defined, because this, again, this the scope of x is local to this function only. Are we clear, Gaurav?
Yes, absolutely agreed. Hmm.
Great. And let's try the question asked by Dheeraj. First of all, let's do this. Uh, we are coming back to that question reverse. We have passed a string and then we're returning reverse of string. So we can store this return string, maybe ret returned is equal to reverse of, or we can use reversed of. Reverse is equal to reverse Python. This will not work. Str reverse. Okay. So now the reversed value will be stored in this variable. You can give any variable here, and then let's try to print the output as well. So this is done. So this is the use of return statement to return the output of something, like as output of the function. Now coming back to Dheeraj's question, let's try that. So Dheeraj is saying, if I remove this return statement, will it work or not? So like he's saying, it won't work. So there is no error first of all, but let's make the function call. You can see it is not performing anything. It has not printed any output, and it is not doing anything for you. But this function is created in the backend. How we can check that? Suppose I can create one more cell here. Suppose I'm writing print just reverse. I'm not giving any parenthesis. If I run this, you can see function reverse at this pointer. Basically, this is a memory address of this function. So if you don't specify any brackets or parentheses during the function call, it will just print like this. This is a function by what is the function name at what memory address. So yes, Dheeraj, it won't work. It will not give any error, but actually, actually don't perform anything for us. That's the answer from my side. Let me just keep it like this. And now, okay. Now one more thing in Jupyter Notebook, I want to show you. If I'm writing reverse and then circular brackets, now please note it down somewhere that if I press Shift Tab and one more time Shift Tab, but we are getting the help documentation automatically in Jupyter Notebook by using Shift plus Tab key. So what it is saying? It is saying that this is a type of function by name of reverse, and it takes only one argument, which is string. So you can see that it has defined this function in Python's memory in this kernel session, and it is also giving us the documentation kind of thing. Similarly, you can check the documentation of any function that has been defined till now. Suppose currency converter you want to check, or maybe we have defined a bio function above, but that will not work because we have restarted the kernel. Let me rerun it. This is the bio function. Let me rerun, and if I come below, Okay, here if I check similarly for bio and put curly braces and press shift tab, you can see it is giving me a little documentation for this function, which is bio, and giving us different arguments which it takes. So we have to pass 3 arguments: name, age, and gender. And then again, this is also a function, and where it is saved in my this directory. This is helpful definitely if you don't know what are the function arguments to be used. This comes handy when you're working with. So suppose there are 100 functions with you are working right now, it becomes a mess and you have to go back and see what is the function definition. But if you already defined the function in the current kernel session, you can just check it right away like this method. Okay, I think we are done with the time. So let's keep these things for tomorrow's session, because there are some advanced examples and other things are there that is left. So let's end this session right away, and if there are any questions, please ask them. And please revise the concepts that till the last session, and rather today's session, because tomorrow's session is again some advanced concepts are there, like for user defined functions itself. You can see different conditions, then keyword arguments, default arguments, modularizations, like so many things are there. So please revise the concepts that we discussed till the last session, and forum is open for the questions if there are any.
Kashish, one question here.
Yeah.
Uh, in the previous example that Dheeraj quoted,
Okay.
so the function didn't work only because there was no return from
Right.
that function, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, where it was. Okay, this was the function. Yeah, if I remove the return statement, that was the only thing.
Mm.
Just because of return statement, it didn't work.
Okay.
But without return statement, I can also use print statement. So that if I don't want to return any value, I can also print that. So what we can do, we can do it like this. Now it is printing the value. But if I write x is equal to reverse of Python, and let's check if x is there, or maybe let's pick some other variable like y and check what is value of y. It is not giving anything because nothing is returned from this function and nothing is stored in this variable.
Mm.
Like you have to practice a lot. You can see it is printing none, so nothing has been returned from this function. That's why no value stored in y.
Can print statement can return be replaced by print?
No, because print basically just prints the value on the screen, but returns actually give us the um, you can say value, so that we can store it somewhere and reuse it later in the in later programs.
Okay.
Suppose
Okay. Mm.
print doesn't give us a value so that we can store it and reuse it somewhere.
Mm.
So does that mean that return works like for a global function variable kind of scenario? We
Return
can say
just
that. Min-
work it in a manner. Let me just explain it in a layman fashion. So like suppose some task is given to me. Suppose I am a Python
Hmm,
program, some task is given to me, and I have to process
hmm,
something. My task is done. Now I am saying, suppose you are the user who has assigned the task to me. Now I will say to you that I have done my task. This is the result that I have done. This is the product that I have created. Now take this from me. Now you want to, if you want to perform anything using my result, do it anything. So this is the basic idea behind return statement. It will just process a task, like function basically process their functionality, and then will it provide the final output or the final product that it has created, something like that. And then we are the user, we can consume it any way and you use it
anywhere.
anywhere.
Correct. Understood. So basically, it makes it global.
Right, right.
Possibility to do it, making it global.
Later on we will learn, like without return statement, we can make the variables of the function global using a global keyword
Okay. Okay.
without
Okay.
using return statement.
Understood.
Yeah, but
Understood.
these are the basics. That's why I didn't wanted to like go that way. But if you have any question, because from now onwards it can be little complex to grasp the concepts, so I would urge everyone to like practice. I think take out half an hour time. It's like nothing. Half an hour, taking a half an hour time a day. So practice all the concepts, because
Correct.
session by session it will going to be very complex.
Right. Another one important thing,
Hmm.
Kashish, you said this Jupyter notebook is only used for educational purpose. For coding, it will not be used. So, for actual coding,
Hmm.
how do we? What would be used?
You can use
Suppose I need.
PyCharm. You can use VS Code, which is Visual Studio Code. You can use Jupyter Notebook. No, not Jupyter Notebook. Sorry, Spider, PyCharm, and VS
Okay.
Code. These are the three tools which are being used these days for you can say development.
But the
Mostly,
coding remains the same,
yes,
whichever
yes.
one we use.
Nothing will change. No concept, no syntax will be changed. But you get some additional things to be used for development. Like you can use Docker directly inside VS Code. You can use GitHub directly in VS Code and PyCharm. So you can directly push your code to GitHub. So you can also debug your code there line by line. So additional functionalities are there, and that's why it is being used. You can also directly deploy your code to some cloud technology like Azure from directly from VS
Oh,
Code. So those tools
okay.
are very powerful.
Mm-hmm. So we will also reach session by session on those aspect also, right? Somewhere we will also do through Visual Code or through PyCharm or through
See, see,
Spider
uh,
for
see. I'm ready to share my knowledge to everyone, like as I'm doing right now. If you like
right.
stay with me till the end, there is no end. First of all, if you stay with me like
Yeah.
for few more sessions, I'm like promising you that I will show you some really good things that you can also work on cloud directly using Python, like AWS, Azure. I can show you directly how to connect AWS using Python. Trust me,
Correct. Correct.
very few people know. Very few people have practical experience on AWS Azure using Python. But I have explored
Okay.
it like thoroughly, so I can explain you things like how does it work and how to work on cloud technologies directly with Python. Maybe data warehouse, which is Snowflake, how to connect with it, how can we can directly create a database using Python on a cloud technology. So all the
Mm-hmm.
interactions, everything will be automated if you just stay with me. How to create web development, how to do web development. Maybe I can teach you some, or I can tell you some also machine learning codes, how to work on with how to work with that on Python. So very, it's a long journey if you just stick
Yeah.
with me. And
No, no, we will stick around. Don't worry,
see,
because this is the most important thing. Yeah.
my motivation is if you practice and give me a result that you are practicing and remembering the concepts, that is my motivation to like continue. Otherwise I also get demotivated that I'm putting so much efforts to create these notes and like teaching you, taking out my time. So I also expect
Correct.
something from you guys.
Yeah, yeah. We will try definitely. We will try to put up those things also. Sure.
Yeah.
Don't worry.